welcome to Green Gander 75. I'm Buddy. So, did you ever get the feeling that you've seen something before? So, we're back here on the Kodiak camper. So what we're going to do is we're going to completely remake my last video because there is a problem. And it's a pretty serious problem. So I went ahead and pulled the last video. We're going to completely remake it, and then we're going to repost it as a reboot. So before we get going, let me say a couple things about this style camper. Alright, so if you got this style camper and you are able to, I would recommend just go ahead and sell it, get rid of it, and get something different. Because there's no ending to the problems with this. If you're like me and you simply don't have the money to sell it and buy another one, that you just got to fix this one because that's all you can afford, then this repair might be for you. And let me just say though that if you're going to make this repair, there's no turning back from it. Once you've started this, you can't undo it. So make absolutely certain that this is exactly what you want to do before you start it, because it is final. I mean, once you've done it, that is it. So and so it is final. Once you've done it, that is it. So okay, well, let me show you real quick what's going on, and then we'll go ahead and remake this video. And if you're pretty familiar with my channel, you're subscribed to it, and you've already seen me repair the camper before, it's basically going to be the exact same video. So you know, you might not be interested in watching it because you've pretty well seen it before. It's only a few minor changes, you know, as far as the video is. As far as repair, it's a big change, but it's going to be a small change, you know, to watch. We will be getting back on the lathe next week, so be watching for that. If you know, if you're not really interested in this kind of thing, you're interested in some good lathe restoration videos, go on over to check out Keith Rucker's YouTube channel at vintagemachinery.org. He is working on a lathe right now that's awesome. Now I don't know Keith Rucker, I've never met him, but his project and what he's doing, it's really cool. So I recommend y'all go check that out, and be sure to come on back to my channel next week and watch me as I continue on with the South Bend lathe restoration project. Okay, so let's go ahead and show you what's going on and why we needed to make this adjustment. Alright, so we've zoomed in a lot closer here, and I'm going to show you what's going on and why we needed to make a change in the video. So here is the metal that we used before. It's 1/16 by 1 inch aluminum, just flat stock. And we used it for the inside to secure the fabric to the inside of the inside edge of the camper. Now this worked out really good until it got really hot outside. So once it got really hot, very humid, the bunk expanded and we ran out of clearance. So the bed wouldn't close fully in its closed position. We weren't out of clearance by very much, so we're going to make a small adjustment, and we're going to be not using the 1 inch stock. Don't need that. We're going to be using a 1/2 inch flat stock. Still 1/16, so it's 1/16 by 1/2 inch flat aluminum stock. And we will be using that on the inside, and we will also be making some adjustments to the screw hole spacing on this to make up for the smaller size. So let's go ahead and go in the shop and go ahead and do some pre-drilling, and then we'll get in the camper and get this job taken care of. So first off, I'm going to go handheld here. I'm going to show you what's going on. Right along in here, there is a gasket. It also serves as a clip to hold the entire canvas onto the camper. Now this gasket right here, it was made of a plastic material, and what happens is it is separating from the canvas here. The plastic is separating from the canvas right along where the threads are. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and eliminate the function of this. We're going to leave it in place, but we're going to eliminate the function of this and make a new way for this bunk end to attach to the camper. Let's flip around to the other side here and I'll show you what I plan to do. Okay, so now we're on the other side. Here we are, we're at the bunk. Here's the inside of the bunk. So what we're going to do is we're going to attach a piece of metal, 1-inch aluminum, 1/16 by 1-inch aluminum, I believe. And we're going to fasten it all along the inside edge here against the inside edge of the camper frame. And by doing that, that will eliminate the need for that plastic gasket and clip that is deteriorating and is tearing. Alright, let me go to the outside and I'll show you a few things on what we plan to do on the outside. Okay, so we're outside the camper now, looking in to where that gasket is. So that gasket is back in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take and put a caulk, roofing type caulk, in between the edge of the canvas and the metal of the inside of the camper frame, and that will seal that gap after we attach the aluminum. All right, well let's go ahead and get started on the aluminum. All right, pick it back up here on this flat stock. We're going to go ahead and mark off the center point. So this is 6 feet long, so we're going to mark off 3 feet. Once we know our center, we're going to mark every 4 inches for a screw hole. I like to use my calipers here for that. Now, this last one will be a little bit different. We'll handle that last. That is on purpose. We're gonna handle that last. All right. So this last one, I want to come in 1 inch. Repeat on both sides. You've marked out the every 4 inches and then 1 inch on the end. We're going to go ahead and mark the halfway for the width of this, which this is a 1/2 inch piece, so we're going to mark off 1/4 inch. Alright, we've got our marks now. Let's go ahead and center punch them. Alright, the screws we're going to be using are a little different than the last time if you watched the previous video. We're going to be using number 6 by 1 inch metal screws, flat Phillips. Come up here close. You can see they're flat. So they will be countersunk. We don't want any exposed screw heads as a matter of clearance. The drill I'll be using is 5/32. Okay, we got all the holes drilled. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to use our countersink bit, and we're going to go ahead and countersink those to make sure the screw head is not sticking up above the metal. Okay, now we're ready to go ahead and caulk around the outside part of this canvas. I'm going to be using a Neoprene Superflash cement. It's a high performance rubberized elastic cement. Seems like it's a pretty good product. I did the other side earlier this week and seems to be holding pretty good. We'll talk a little bit more about the water tightness and the design of this here at the end of the video. But basically this is just to fill the gaps. When you clamp that piece of metal on the inside, it's going to fill the gaps on the outside and also fill in the screw holes where you screw that into the frame of the camper. So we'll put a about a 1/4 inch size bead all the way around the outside. Alright, so we're inside the camper and we're going to go ahead and put up the 1/2 inch piece of metal. If you have seen this video before, I have installed a 1 inch piece of aluminum, which we have now removed because it had a clearance issue. We're going to go ahead and put in the piece of 1/2 inch aluminum that we had drilled and countersunk the holes just a few moments ago. So okay, let's go ahead and get started. I got the aluminum right here, so we're going to go ahead and get it into place, and we're going to start at the bottom and work our way to the top. Okay, we're down here in the bottom corner. What we're going to try to do is line up the metal with this seam, and we want to cover that seam. Push this down about even with the top of the bed here. Once you're lined up real good, you're free to go ahead and drill. Now I'm going to start on the 3rd hole up right here, and then we'll do the next 2 down, and then we'll work our way on up to the top. I am using a 7/64 drill bit. Make sure we're lined up real good right here. Alright, once you've got that drilled, we can go ahead and put our flathead Phillips number 6 by 1 inch screw into place. Now me, I'm using a screwdriver simply because I'm concerned about it ringing off if I use a power driver, but that's my preference, so you may want to use a power driver if you want. Okay, snug it up real good, but don't get it too tight or you may strip it out. So let's do the next one. Now when we get up to the top corner here, I'm going to take my rubber mallet and I'm going to tap the aluminum into place. Try to get it as tight as we can possibly get it, because we had a clearance issue with a 1 inch piece, and we also had issues with clearance because it wasn't as tight up as we could possibly get it. So we're gonna try to fix that with our rubber mallet and tap it into place. Also, when you get up near where the support cable is, and you have to drill through that area right there, be careful that be careful when you're drilling it, because it's there's some extra support stuff in there that you might hit, and you're very likely to break your bit. I know that because I've broken my bit a couple times. So just be careful. Take your time. Alright, so off camera, I cut a centerpiece here and drilled and countersunk the holes, and that is to go right here in the middle. Alright, we'll just line that up. Okay, well, we've got all the metal strips in place, so I guess that's pretty much it. The only thing to do now is make sure the bed closes, so we'll do that next. All right, well, let's go ahead and get this this bunk closed and see how it fits. All right, so we got it closed up, so let's go ahead and open it, reopen it, and see how well it opens. One of the concerns I want to raise here is the caulk is it's got a very strong odor, and I want to make sure that y'all are aware that that odor will basically never go away. It'll get less. It won't be as bad after time and all, but you're always going to smell it. You know, you open up the camper, you know, getting ready for a trip and all, you're going to smell it. Any amount of time that it's closed up, you're going to smell it. The smell is always going to be there. So I want to make sure that y'all are aware of that, and if you have anybody in your family or yourself that is really sensitive to chemical odors, don't do this project. This is not going to work for y'all. It's basically you won't be able to use the camper after this because they won't be able to handle the smell. This is a project of last resort. You've done everything you can possibly do to try to fix this. You've contacted everybody you can contact, and they don't write back. They don't call back. Some of them just say, "Nope, we can't do it." And at this point, that you are, you know, this is your last chance to try to repair this before you send this thing off to the junkyard. So the repairs so far, it looks like it's going to work. I don't have anybody in my family that's going to be really bothered with that smell, and it should be okay for us, but just keep that in mind. So this project looks like it's going to work. Let me zoom out here, and I want to show you the next step in the repair project. All right, so here we're zoomed out. We're looking at the back side of the camper and the bunk. Now this is a design flaw. Everybody knows it's a design flaw. Dutchman knows it's a design flaw. They messed up when they did this. But I want you to look at this bunk, and you'll see that it rises up in the middle. They plan to do that, you know, to add more headroom for the bunk. But it rises up in the middle, and then it slopes back towards the camper. So you get water that just runs back towards the camper, and the idea was they had a plastic channel in there that would channel the water down the side and out the end of the bunk here. Well, that channel is what's tearing. That channel is also what holds the canvas onto the camper itself. So we don't have that anymore, and we've got to figure out a way to keep the water from running back to the camper. So to do that, the plan is going to be to put to build a kind of a canopy that will come off the end of the camper. Something very simple that slides on and will come off the end of the camper and then come down over this, so the canopy will slope down towards the outside of the camper, so the water will run this way instead of running that way. So it'll be mounted up high, and then it'll come down and then probably strapped down with some bungee cords. So that will be the next step in the project. I don't anticipate getting to that until probably next month. Our money is a little bit tight right now. We are working on saving up to buy a house, so we're not spending a whole lot right now. So it should be sometime next month when we will get to the next step in this project. But yeah, we've got to get the water from running towards the camper. We've got to get it to run away from the camper. And that is good because the caulk and the seal, although it's waterproof now, it's not going to stay waterproof. As you take and raise and lower this bunk end repeatedly over years, that caulk and all is going to eventually break down, and you're going to start to get holes where water can seep through. I don't think you'll get holes that are big enough for bugs, but water could seep through it, so we've got to get that water away and just not even come in contact with that seal at all. So that's the plan. And so that'll be coming up. We're aiming for next month. So keep a lookout for that. So this has been a fun little project that we're working on. And hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you'll stay tuned for the continuation of this once again probably next month. And we'll see what happens. So far, everything is looking very positive that we're going to be able to get this camper back out and start using it again. I know this is a problem that so many people are having, and there is just no answers. There's just nothing out there. It's almost like nobody's really even made an attempt to make this repair. So we're going to see where this goes, and I'd like to encourage you to keep a lookout for that. One way that you can keep a lookout for the next installment of this is to click that subscribe button down there, and subscribe to the channel. That way you get updates on when I put out a video. Typically I put out a video on Wednesday, and so you know, you'll get updates on my shop videos. And in addition to working on the camper, we're also working on a 14.5-inch South Bend lathe, doing a restoration project on that, and that's a fun project. So those of y'all who are, been watching my lathe project, we will be getting back onto that next week. I've got some parts all set to finish up on the saddle, and hope to get that done next week and have a video to you for next Wednesday. Well, I guess that's it. So once again, thank you for all my new subscribers, and I want to, of course, thank you for all my existing subscribers. I sure appreciate everyone, and it's really awesome the progress that this channel has had over the past few months. So that is great, and of course, keep the comments coming. I love having the good positive comments, and answering any questions that I can possibly answer. I also love, of course, hearing about your projects too. So well, I guess that is it. So once again, thank you for watching, and y'all have a good evening.